Thank you, everyone, for joining us on another exciting lubrication across the nation, brought to you by Dynamic Green Products. That's DGP. Find all of their information at changeyouroil.com. Bio-based and zero compromise. Today, I want to welcome my special guest, Lucas Evangelous, to the crowd of those. Well, I don't even know if I have to really introduce you. I mean, it's like you're without introduction, man. Like everyone,
I don't know
everyone out
about
there
that. I mean,
already knows it. If
I,
you have ever been on Instagram, folks, and and you see Full Tilt Saw, this is the man, the myth, the legend behind Full Tilt Saw.
I don't know about that. It was just something I started with, just to have a little fun with my buddy Adam, and just enjoying it.
Well, it's good. So let's dive in a little bit, find out a little bit about you and everything, and then we can get into the saws as well. But so you are located here on the East Coast along with me, but you're not currently because of your job. But you are up in the Massachusetts area.
Yes, I am. Yep, I'm in kind of the suburbs. I'm in around the central Mass.
And is that where you're from originally? That area?
Yep, yep. Born and raised.
Nice, nice. So is there curious, where do people in Massachusetts, like the young kids anyway, not necessarily, what may like when you were growing up, maybe where do the kids go, like, oh, when I grow up, I'm going to go here? Like, is there some spot that everyone like wants to go, like Florida or the West Coast or something out of
You know what?
Massachusetts?
Honestly, not really, because I was in a different crowd all through. Like we were more like we grew up in kind of a ritzy area. And me and five of my buddies, we all grew up blue collar. My best friend, who I hung out with every day, happened to be my next door neighbor. His father owned an excavation company. My father was an industrial electrician. So from, 5 years old and whatnot, we were always helping either my father or his father. And we kind of stayed with that background and we both stayed with it. So we're tradies and through.
Nice. That's a cool way to do it. Having that group around you. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. No,
And
it's,
so,
I wouldn't change it.
speaking of blue collars and trades, what do you do for a living when you're not doing your Full Tilt Saw stuff?
So I am actually a wireman, and I recently started traveling doing substations. So substations is where the transmission lines come in and they get knocked down for consumable voltage. So I do all like the control circuits and, the distribution for how it's going to be distributed.
Gotcha. Okay. And that's the you go basically all over the country with that for
Pretty
that.
much, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Like I'm in Iowa right now, and there's you never really know what the next one is. You try to find out, and one week it will be Texas, and then you hear Idaho and Missouri, and you just kind of roll with the punches. Whatever comes, it comes, and if not, then you just go work back in Boston for a little while, and you'll get a call and say, "Hey, you want to hit the road? All right, let's go."
So do they say, like, give you a choice of a few different ones, or that's the one, like, if you want to go travel, like, we have this one that's up that you can
Honestly, you
go
you
far.
get kind of a choice, but the rates are different all over, the country. So
Oh, good point. Okay.
you always pick, all right, well, like what's the rate in Iowa and, what's the add-ons, and that usually makes your
For
choice
sure, the
for you
per
right
diems
there.
and all the other stuff
Yep,
that you
yeah,
got. Yeah.
exactly,
Yep.
exactly.
I gotcha. I gotcha. And so what got you into that particular line of work, into the electric line?
So my father was an industrial electrician growing up, and,
Mm.
I went with him all the time, and I ended up having enough credits to graduate high school my sophomore year of high school, and I worked full time from 16 till right now in the electrical field.
So it's instead of veins, you have wires going
Yeah, yeah.
all through it. And so do you like do you like to travel? Is it cool getting to
It,
kind
it
of see
it's
other
all
places?
it's okay. It's all right. It's like the work's really cool. You get to meet a bunch of people all over the world with, and really connect and make some pretty cool contacts. But being away from home, especially with like wife and children, it can be difficult. But like I tell everyone that travels with us, you got to make sure you put family first, no matter what you do, and you'll have a great career. But as soon as you start compromising any of that, it's not worth it.
How long have you been doing the travel part of it?
Better part of a year.
Okay.
I'm relatively new to it. I've worked in Boston for 11 years, just, you know, buildings and high rises and same kind of thing, but, not as large scale as we're doing now.
Gotcha. So is it with the travel, is there any kind of criteria to start doing the travel stuff? Is it, you have to have X amount of experience or you have to have any kind of certain certifications, anything like that?
Yeah. So usually you're asked. It's not like hey, I want to travel. And it's different for linemen, right? Linemen, they travel no matter what they do. We're wiremen. So
Gotcha.
we're not as needed. You just have to have a really good idea of control circuits and how to wire them and not blow them up because the equipment gets very, very, very expensive on substations.
Yeah, I can imagine it. Well, and when you're dealing with voltages of that magnitude, you have to be precise. There's not a lot of margin for error, I assume.
Well, you also have your approach distances. Like, if you have a live 345 line, you can't get within 30 feet of it. You have to ground every pickup truck. You have to, it's just,
Wow,
it's a to do. It's about 4 hours before you even start working.
interesting. So you show up and you have to a whole bunch of checklists to go through before you.
Yeah, it's a walk down and, a job site hazard analysis every morning for, like I said, that's only if they call it a brown substation. And that would be live voltage coming in from the transmission lines to a certain part of the substation that you're working on.
Gotcha. Man, that's crazy. I mean, for good measure, it's not something to play around with. It's not like you're touching an electric fence.
Yeah, no, no, not at all.
So then along the way, you decided to get into this side gig of doing chainsaw. I don't know. I guess chainsaw content overall. It's not necessarily chainsaw reviews. I mean, you do review chainsaws, but then you're also showing how tos and everything.
Yeah,
What?
like I'm not sponsored by anybody or anything. It's me and my best friend Adam growing up. We love tree work, right? So through high school we did a little bit of tree work on the side and we said, you know what, screw it. Let's just keep rolling with it when we have available time and we're together. We're a two-man operation. We both climb, you know, and rig and, we don't do crane operations, anything crazy like that. Like you see on YouTube, we're not, a giant company. We're just two guys that enjoy doing it. And we gotten pretty good at it over the years and it doesn't feel like work and it's an easy way to make a little bit of money when I'm at home in between substations and the next job.
No, for sure. And did you like with the climbing part of it and everything? Did you have someone that you worked for to learn all that from,
So
or how did
Adam's
you?
actually an arborist. So by
Oh, okay,
he went to school for it. He's an actual arborist, but he is still working in excavation right now.
gotcha.
We both have this big dream that someday, we'll be financially, set to do tree work for the rest of our lives and we'd both be happy people, but that we're just quite
There's
not quite, we'll,
there's not a lot of
we're,
people that say that. You know?
we'll be there someday, hopefully, but right now is not the day.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's just funny. It's one of those things where you can tell that you're truly passionate about it because especially when it comes to any kind of physical work, really, when it comes down to it, like there's not a lot of people out there that are saying, you know, I can't wait for the day when I can do this instead of what I'm doing right now. Like
Yeah,
there's
no, we
cool.
look forward to it. It just doesn't feel like work when we're doing it. It's, we're out in the field, we shoot the shit, and we just have a great time while we're doing it. And it's one of those things. Like I said, it's you're working for yourself. You're not under the gun. You can, you know what I mean. It's a big
Mhm.
job. You don't have to rush through it. You can enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I don't even consider it work.
Well, do you guys do? Is it in the kind of that greater Boston area? Do you go outside of the area doing it?
So I really don't. I'm not a big fan of the city. I'm from Central Mass, more so the western side, and we'll go
Oh, okay.
wherever.
Okay.
We'll go wherever. Honestly, we'll just throw a bunch of climbing stuff in the back of my pickup truck. We'll take his pickup truck, climb the tree, just either rent a chipper or haul it out in the pickup trucks, and that's it. Depending on how close we are to home, if it's good wood, we keep it for firewood. And he's just got a trailer and we load the log lengths on him like you see at the house. We take them off with a skid steer and stack them. And that's what you
Well,
see us cutting, you
I
know?
was gonna say with the amount I see you cutting, you have like firewood for the next 4 or 5 years already, right?
Oh man. I mean, I give it away. I give it away, man. I really do. we cut it and split it. And I mean, I heat my house through the winter with wood. I mean, I think my furnace will come on 3 or 4 times, especially with my wife being home. We just got a one of the bigger Vermont casting stoves, sits right in the living
Nice.
room. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I mean, that thing heats my house all, it could be negative 15 degrees outside. My house is 80 degrees in the winter with the windows open,
Yeah,
you
those
know?
things are like that is one of my my all-time favorite things of in the wintertime is sitting. I don't have it here in North Carolina. We don't have a fireplace at this place, but previously, you know, sitting in the living room late at night, kids are in bed, got a nice fire going, like you said, like hot enough to where like you can have the windows open, and you know you get that cold air that you can feel, you know, and just sitting reading a book and just there's nothing like it. There's nothing like that at all whatsoever. It's like the
No,
best
it's like
feeling in the world.
I grew up with a wood stove. It just, it feels like home for me. You know what I mean? And it's just,
Yeah,
I just think
absolutely.
the whole aspect of it, especially with oil being $5 and some odd cents a gallon all winter long, it's, I'll go outside, enjoy myself, cut some wood, split it, and then heat my house with it. And a bunch of my neighbors around me will grab it, and I'll call friends and be like, "Hey, load your truck up if you need it." You know.
Nobody minds you running the saw when they know that they're going to have warmth in the in the winter from
Well,
it, right?
I don't. I'll be honest with you, right? Some of my neighbors probably hate me because you guys see me. I got the piped saws and everything, and I mean, I'm ripping them, but you know, I'm courteous about it. I don't do it, you know, weird hours, and I
Sure,
talk to them
sure.
all the time. I'm like, hey, you know, like if you're working nights or whatever, just let me know. Shoot me a text, and I'll make sure I'm not interrupting your sleep schedule. So, you know, I've actually had no complaints at all from my neighborhood. Everyone's been really awesome with it, and
That's cool. That's cool.
you know, but
Well, I
what
mean, you know, if you're not doing it 24/7, then it's a little bit
right, and I
easier to
mean, we're
handle.
also from, like I said, we're not from the city, so, like, 90% of the houses by me burn wood, so it's a chainsaw is a normal thing to hear by me. It's not like it's a weird thing.
So, how did you? I mean, obviously, growing up with a wood stove and everything, you're familiar with that. But have you always been into saws the way you are now, as far as like just
So,
really loving all the different types of saws?
growing up, I was probably, like, 5 or 6, and my father was outside splitting wood, and I was, like, all over it. I'm like, "Oh, like, Mom, you gotta let me go help dad. Like, I gotta get out there," you know? By the time I was 7, you know, my father bought me, like, one of the smaller power saws. I think it was, like, a 36 cc or whatever, you know, stayed over my shoulder watching me, and I was like, "Man, like, this is what it's about." And I just all through, you know, middle school, high school, it was, like, once a day, running saw and splitting wood, running saw, splitting wood, and I'm 28 now, and it's really never changed. It's never changed, you know? It's just, like, now I just enjoy taking the tree down more than splitting the wood, but, you know, I still love splitting the wood, and believe it or not, almost 90% of what I split is all with an axe or a maul.
Well, that was just
I
going to be
mean,
my next question for you. Actually, was was how you go about splitting. I mean, I definitely. I mean, I no disparagement to anybody who uses a splitter, because I mean I know plenty of guys who use a splitter, especially the guys who are production guys who are, you know, they're making a livelihood out of it and everything. But I just there's something about a cold morning, right, and splitting wood just out, and like you got your breath coming out and you're you know
that's
kind of
it.
those first few swings are a little hard, and then everything kind of opens up, right?
I'll tell you what I gave up splitting with an axe on a maul though is elm. When I get elm, I'm like, yeah, that thing can go on a splitter. I mean, I don't even
There's
try
limits.
anymore.
There's
I mean,
limits.
it's but like 90% of anything else, it's with an axe. I mean, I'm crazy with axes. I go to like the flea markets and we have vintage tool people. They sell vintage tools for like pennies on the dollar. You'll find some
Okay.
pretty cool old like true temper like with cheeks on them for splitting. The old heads,
Yeah.
Collins, you
Yeah.
can find them there. And I just halved them, bring them back to life, and I love that. I mean, I have probably as many axes as I got chainsaws. And, you know, and
How many saws do you have, or do you know?
geez, between me and Adam combined or just myself?
And don't worry, your wife won't see this, so
Oh boy. So if we're talking me and my buddy Adam combined, we're somewhere around the 150 mark,
wow.
probably, and about 50% of them run, you know, but like we'll
Sure,
just,
yeah.
you know what I mean? We just see like, you know, Facebook Marketplace or eBay or whatever, if we see like a good deal and it's got compression and we can bring it back to life, then we will. Like I just rebuilt that 2100 CD, and that thing's freaking awesome. I love that saw.
So, and do you do other like the other vintage saws as well, like McCulloch and things like that,
Oh,
or
oh,
is it
oh yeah,
okay?
absolutely, absolutely. So, Adam with AC saws. He has got the McCulloch collection. All right, like every cool McCulloch you see on my page is Adam's. I'm not going to take
Gotcha.
that away
Okay.
from him.
All
The
right.
Super Pro 81. He's got two Super Pro 81s, two Super Pro 60s, a Super Pro 80. He just got a 125. He is in the process of rebuilding. And as everyone knows, what an icon that is. Parts are not easy to find. So that's been a slow process, but we're both real excited to get that thing going.
Well, yeah, I can imagine that. There's that's the I don't know. It's I would say it's sad at in one aspect that it is hard to find the parts because they just don't make them like they used to, as they say. But at the same time, I feel like it's almost nowadays too that it kind of that there's that thrill of the hunt, the scavenger hunt of like looking for a carburetor, looking for this or looking for that
It,
of
it,
a
it
piece
is. It is.
of
I
an
mean,
original.
in the shop, I mean, I got just bins, like, the snap lock bins full of carburetors and sprockets. And I mean, just a ridiculous amount of stuff that we forget what we have. And we're ordering stuff and then we're organizing stuff and we're like, oh man, I had 6 of these and I just bought one, you know? And it just gets kind of funny. But,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
and do you personally have a favorite brand overall that you like? I mean, I know you guys
I
have
mean,
a
are
ton
we
of saws.
talking vintage or new? I mean, because
Let's go
that's
with vintage first.
vintage McCulloch. McCulloch and
Okay.
Husqvarna are probably tied for me. When you get the only reason I'm going to say that is because the 2100 CD. That's the
Okay.
only reason. You take that out of circulation, it's going to be Mac all day.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And then switching over to newer.
I mean, I'm a sucker for a 500i, a good ported 500i. I mean, I don't think you can beat it. Everyone has their saw and whatever, but I mean, a 500 that's ported good, I just don't think you can beat that saw.
I got you. Not even the 572.
No, not to me. I mean, I've ran both of them. I'm gonna say 500i all day, and I would run a 372 over a 572.
I've heard that a lot
Yep,
from
I
from
would.
folks. They're like,
I really would. I'm a more of a 3 series guy than a 5.
gotcha,
Alta,
gotcha.
and it's just that's I don't know if it's the manual carb for me, but I just feel like I can get them to run better. I don't mind in the morning retuning the saw for taking the 5 minutes and tuning the carb if it needs it. I just feel like they got better peak performance on. Just
I
like
can see
the
that. Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I have a 590, or sorry, yeah, 390 and a 592. And if you're taking stock for stock with a pipe and a filter, that 390 does circles around the 592. And people can look at me like I'm crazy all they want. It's that is the truth.
Have you since you were younger and everything, growing up and everything? Have you always been into tinkering with them as far as like the porting and all that, or putting the pipes
So
on them, and everything,
I'm not
or
gonna lie to you. I don't port saws. I
well,
got
no, I meant
into it
as far as like getting into having them done.
that's honestly recent for me. I've always been a pipe filter guy growing up, and and I still do believe that's enough to get you by. I really do.
Sure,
But
sure,
the
yeah,
the the porting is a whole nother animal, especially when you're doing a controlled fall and you want to have the speed behind the saw to nip one side to control
yeah.
where it's going to go. I mean,
That's true.
that's why
You don't want any lag whatsoever. That's for sure.
right. So if you got to nip a special spot, and I've recently seen the value of a ported saw, and I don't really want to run an unported saw after having them ported. It's just not it's not the same.
No, well, you make a really good point too, because I think a lot of people because it's kind of, it's been around for a long time, obviously, but it's becoming much more popular recently. I've seen a lot more people talking about it, even just within the last year, and a lot more people putting out content on it, on specific to the ported no ported thing. And I think that that people at a glance would say that, okay, well, you're just turning it into a hot rod, and there's no real, functionality to it.
And that's where people get confused because there's a truth to that, and that's false at the same time. So you got
Well, then
guys who make
walk us through that a little bit.
sure because when you port saws, and like I said, there's a lot of guys you could talk to that know more about this than I do. Right? I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm a professional in this. I'm just going to say what I do know. There's a work saw that gets ported, and it's not like a race saw. Right? You can beat the crap out of it, and as long as you take care of it and you run decent oil on the saw and everything else, you're going to be all right. It's going to run just like it would a stock, be just as reliable. If you get into like a super, super hot saw, yeah, it's probably not going to run as long as a work saw, but it's going to scream like a banshee.
Very true. I was just up in Hayward, Wisconsin, a couple of weeks ago for the Lumberjack World Championship, and then I'm headed to New York actually next weekend for the Woodsman Day, New York Woodsman's Day.
Oh yeah,
festival up there, and so because we sponsor a couple of timber sport athletes, and so it's always interesting seeing. I mean, obviously the hot saw competition is in its own league because there's no functionality really to the hot saw.
right,
It's made
exactly.
for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's running for 4 seconds. So it's that one you're not going to be doing anything else other than that with. I mean, they'll burn up if you try anyway. But
Right,
but there's a lot of the 3 block and 4 block and 5 block competitions where you see those like what to me they just look so weird to me because it's like it looks like a stock saw basically with this huge muffler hanging off it.
right. And to be honest with you,
weird.
I never really got into that because I've always been into like the more functionality over race, and I think it's cool to watch. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy watching it. For me, I don't have a use for one. You know what I mean? It would be
Well, I think that's
cool
where
to
people see
run
it.
one day.
They see people that don't know see that they hear you talking about the saw being ported and and having pipes on it and this and that, and then they're like, oh, I saw that at a fair once. And like, no, that's not what we're talking about.
Right.
We're talking about functionality.
Exactly.
You're not bringing those out into the woods to cut down a tree.
Exactly. And I also think a big part of porting too is who ports your saw. Right. Like
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, I have a saw from Kevin Levanaway, and it's unbelievable. I mean, it's just as reliable as it ever was. It's a 372, and I run that a lot, and I kick the crap out of it, and I've never had an issue with it. And there was recently a guy, Jake Smith. I wasn't familiar with who he was, but he worked for an outfit that did race saws for a while. And he was a gentleman. He reached out to me and said, hey, you know what? I'd appreciate it if you would send your saw to me. We'll see what you think. And I'm going to let him port it. He seemed like a genuine guy. He showed me some videos. His saws are no joke. So I sent my 390 out because I've been jonesing to have that thing ported for a little bit. And when he sends it back, there'll be plenty of videos on it, and I'm looking forward to it. So he's told me the 390s were his bread and butter. So I'm pretty excited because I use that saw a lot. Like a 390 and a 500i to me are interchangeable. Those are the two saws that if I had to pick two saws for the rest of my life, full size, it would be those two.
Right. Well, and that's and you brought up a good point too. Is that when you're if someone's out watching this, listening to this, however you're taking it in, and you're wanting to get more into that side of it, of moving away from just having your stock saws in your shed and having some fun with them and doing some other things and porting. There's guys out there that it's not like you take just any saw to any person and they'll port any saw. Like there's a lot of guys out there that are specific to a very niche portion of it.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
you just like, okay, I do 390s. That's what I do. That's what I know. It'll be the baddest saw you've ever had, but it's only that saw.
Especially the 500Is. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Like you got to go to someone who you see is pumping out 500Is because those are a whole nother animal. Like mine's done by 309 Machine, and I had a conversation with him before I even sent it to him. I was a little skeptical. He was new, and man, that saw is freaking. I would send any 500i to that guy any day of the week without a hesitation. I mean, And I've used that, like you guys see a lot of videos of that one. I use that one like crazy, like easily my most used saw.
So now, what about bars?
Canon Duralite all day long. It's worth the
Duralite.
extra
Okay.
money. And I'm not sponsored by anyone. This is out of my
Oh,
own
yeah,
pocket.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? There's no skin off my butt on what product I'm going to tell you I like and I don't. Canon Duralites all day long. They last forever if you take care of them. That being said, that's why I switched over to DGP and I was so excited about it. It's because when you're running a $400 bar, right, you're going to want some pretty good oil to lubricate the $400 bar when you're done building a saw and the saw's $2,500 plus on top of it. I don't really
Yeah.
think that an extra $5-10 on bar oil means anything at that point to me.
Yeah, you make it up on the back end
Right,
pretty quickly when you're talking about,
right.
chain wear and bar wear, especially.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's, I run all square ground chain and it's, is it hard to sharpen? No. Do I want to do a 32-inch bar every single day? No. But it's, and I think it's all marginal, right? Because
Yeah,
I mean, you guys are geared towards the pro consumer, right?
for sure. Yeah.
More so.
Yeah.
So if you got a guy that goes to Tractor Supply and grabs a $90 chainsaw, don't really expect him to grab the best bar oil on the planet. The thing I'm trying to tell people to understand is when you spend, when that saw as it sits is around $3,000, right? Because that's about the going rate of a ported built saw.
That's
I mean,
when you add
you
all
know,
those, those
and
different parts. Yep.
that's on the low end. That's on the low end. I don't think $30 for a gallon of bar oil is too much to ask for. I really don't,
Yeah.
especially if people are doing tree work. Like I've said it a million times. We'll literally bring the jug of uh, whatever it is, Tractor Supply oil, and then your product, and let them read it for themselves. Because we're always cutting over garden beds, usually nice grass, or the people just don't want the actual petroleum-based oil,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. Out of the 70 that we asked, I think maybe one or two have denied it. It's a $25 markup, and they can guarantee them that it's not going to kill the flowers. Because if you're running bar oil over flowers, it's going to kill them. I mean, I've done it. There's no arguing that.
I was just talking to somebody today about that, we were having a conversation and they were asking what some of the kind of the misconceptions, I guess, would be about it. And where we're actually, it's kind of funny because here we are talking about ported saws. The conversation actually was centered around electric battery powered saws. And we were talking about they mentioned that, it's better for the environment because, you have the battery, so you don't have the oil. I mean, the gas, and everything, exhaust. And I said, well, yeah, but it depends on what you're putting into it. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you still have to have bar oil. Like,
100%.
if you're,
100%.
like to me, I mean, I honestly, and I'm not saying anything bad about battery, it has its place, whatever. But, for me, I would rather run, like, in my mind, as far as like how it affects the environment, I would rather have a saw that has, you know, a gas mix saw versus battery that has a good bar oil in it, rather than someone running a battery powered saw that has Tractor
100%.
Supply.
100%. Absolutely. I agree with you full heartedly. And I'd tell you if I didn't, trust me. I'd tell you if
I trust you.
yeah.
I trust you. Yeah, it's just it's a night and day. It's a night and day difference, and I didn't really, I mean, I've been using it for years, and so now it's like to the point where I don't even notice it. But then
Right.
every once in a while, I'll grab a saw that doesn't, that's different, and it's like almost not like I just immediately I'm
I'll
like,
tell you
what is
when I
this?
really saw it. I'll tell you when I really saw it for myself was when I had the 30-inch piece of round red oak. And that's the one where it got a good amount of views with the 500 that was tearing through it.
Well, yeah, yeah.
I have not had a saw that cut and not gotten bound, or it glided right through that huge buck. I mean, and it wasn't just that one time. It was over and over and over again. Because I take that multi-purpose oil that you
Mhm.
guys have
Yep.
too, and what I do is I clean my bars with that CLR, the tar and grease one.
Sure,
Pull
sure.
all the crap out of the cannon bar, and then I spray it down with the multi-use oil. So it's already super slick when you grab the bar to begin with.
Yep.
And
That's
it
the same
just,
thing I do with mine. I always
yep,
when I get
and
done
it
at the end
works.
of the day maintenance, spray it down and good to go.
And I do that every time I run my saw. And people can sit here and tell me it's ridiculous all they want. I have bars that are 5 years old, the Canon bars, and the only thing that's wrong with them is they got no label on them.
Right?
There's
Yeah.
nothing. There's no hot spots, nothing. And I don't baby them. I run them just like I would any other bar.
Yeah. Well, and it's like anything else. If Scott's DGP's founder, his kind of running thing that I've heard him say so many times at trade shows when people comment about the price, like you're talking about the price per gallon. It's like, well, if you're, he'll ask people like, well, what kind of saw do you have? And they'll be like 500i or whatever else, what other saw, but it's always, when it's the high end saws, and it's like, okay, so if you buy a Lamborghini, are you going to put retread tires on it? Like,
Exactly.
what are you
Right.
doing?
Are you gonna go to the job lot and get oil for your Lamborghini? No.
Yeah.
It's all marginal, right? Like there's a place for the cheap stuff, and it's not in the good saws. It's just
Exactly.
not.
Yeah.
Especially when you port them and you go from 12,000 to 18,000 RPMs. You need a better oil. Like RPMs is heat. You need something to dissipate the heat when you're in a cut.
Yeah, absolutely. And you need something that's going to have that staying power too. And having run both types, the DGP can handle the heat, whereas the others, you start smoking them out, and that's what kills the bar, the chain, and everything else in between.
And I'll tell you one thing right now too. Go outside when it's 20 degrees and pour Tractor Supply oil in your reservoir, and then pour DGP into the reservoir. You can see the viscosity difference. It doesn't change.
Mhm.
Whether it's 150 degrees outside or 20, it pours the exact same. And that should tell you right off there, when the thermal barrier gets higher on the saw itself, it's going to be less susceptible to burning up.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's where, the craziest I saw in the lab was watching us do a heat test that I hadn't seen the heat test before. I went to our lab with Scott, and we did a side by side comparison with the one of the leading full synthetics on the market. And it got up to about 300 degrees, and that thing had rolling smoke coming off of it on the competitor side, and ours was just sitting. It didn't even look like it was even on. We actually had to we took a heat gun and tested it because we were worried that the heat plate wasn't working.
Right. Yeah, no,
It was like only
exactly.
one side, and
Right.
we're like, okay, no,
Right.
it's the same. The heat plate's the same on both sides, so it's incredible. It really is. And having even working for the company, I'm blown away by it every time I see tests like that, just because it doesn't seem like it should be a thing, but it is.
Right. 100%. And I agree with that wholeheartedly.
So is there, there isn't any, I was going to say, is there any other saws in your future? But 500i is like, that's where we're at right now. There's nothing else coming out in the market that I know of anyway.
I just got a 564
Okay.
from the fuel injected Husqvarna. It is fully stock and not broken in right yet. And I'm going to tell you what everyone else tells you when they're stock. I'm not impressed right now. I'm
Okay.
just not. I heard that if you put
what particular, what like,
I'm not.
just kind of all around.
I put a 28-inch bar on it because that's usually what I run. And I understand, right? A 500i is an 80 cc saw. That is a 62. Okay,
Sure.
there's no taking that away. That's not even a fair comparison. You can't compare the two saws. They're not even in the same realm. I feel like once I put a pipe on that thing and open it up, it's going to be a completely different saw though. Because I can feel the restriction on it when I'm cutting. Like it wants to go and then it chokes itself. So I think there's too much, hold back on the saw as it is. It's neutered. So I'm gonna try tossing a pipe and a filter on it, seeing where we go from there, and then I'm gonna pour it because the thing weighs nothing. It's awesome. It's really enjoyable to use. So that being said, I don't really want to knock it because it's got one tank of fuel through it. It's like I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's a bad saw because I wasn't really impressed with the 500, the first tank of fuel. I'm not impressed by any saw before they're broken in. So I'm not going to sit here and knock the saw. I'm going to break it in a little bit, but I'm going to give you the beans, you know what I mean? And tell you what I think of it. But right now, am I blown away? No, not at all.
Well, as people, for those when they see this and they're listening to this or they're watching it, how can they see your your reviews and see you cutting through a million logs in is that your backyard you do it in?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So how can people find you?
Just Full Tilt Saw on Instagram, Facebook, Full Tilt Saw on whatever that other one is there, TikTok, and then I do the YouTube as well.
That's the same thing
But
on all of them, full tilt saw.
same thing on all of them, but I'm primarily do the Instagram and Facebook. That's where most of my stuff goes.
Yeah.
But
Well, I
that's
mean, tree. If you're a tree guy, it's Instagram. I mean, it's
yeah,
there's
it
people
is.
putting content on the other things, but I mean, Instagram. And I mean, obviously, Facebook and Instagram are kind of like same, but yeah, Instagram is whether it's landscaping, arborists, anything. I mean, it's all visual, right? So that's
Right, 100%,
where it's at.
100%, and
You know,
and
easy to
I
share.
was thinking about doing like the more in depth reviews of the saws in the future. I can do
Oh,
that.
totally.
I usually only do like the shorts or whatever. I feel like that's what people actually want to see. No one wants to sit there and listen to someone talk about a saw for 30 minutes. But if people
You'd be
want it, I
surprised,
will.
man. You'd be surprised.
Hey, if people want it, tell me. I'll do it. I don't have a
Well,
problem
I
with
think
it.
it'd be interesting to do some, some educational stuff on there. Have some, when like we were talking about the porting, like what exactly is it that porting does? Like what is porting, and
Right,
where,
right, and
what does it look like? Pull something apart, and be like, this is a stock one, this is one that's been ported.
right.
Let's
And
walk through
if I
this.
was gonna do that, I'd probably key Kevin Levan away or Jake Smith in on one of them because they know it through and through. You know what I mean? They do it every day.
Sure,
I'd
yeah,
definitely key them in on it, and
yep,
they're much more knowledgeable than I am on the porting side.
yeah. It'd just be, things like that are always interesting to me because we throw, we have those words out like I think right now in the saw world, porting and piping are the two big buzz terms. But
Yep.
like I said, the people don't understand. They might understand the concept of like what, you know, putting a pipe on a saw means, but what is it really? What is the bend? Like, is it a
And
straight
well,
pipe? Is it bent?
it right. I mean, the whole idea of the pipe is to open up flow, right? Because with the two-stroke motor, I don't care what people they're going to say you need back pressure. A two-stroke motor, you do not need back pressure in a two-stroke motor. That is the biggest crock right there. Being said, you can open that thing up, take the muffler off, and it's going to run better than it ever has. But I think a filter on it is just as important as well. Like I always do the pipe and the filter as a combo. I
Sure, yeah,
just
yeah. I would
especially
agree totally. Yep.
the 500i filter is garbage. I mean, that filter that saw comes with that is the Achilles heel of that saw.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that it would matter that a filter would matter that much, but
Oh,
it
man,
makes a
does it?
difference.
It does. And it's not even just on performance. It's like, look how much crap gets in on the
Oh yeah,
stock
no,
filter,
totally. Yeah.
you know?
Yep. It's a huge difference. I mean, that was when I used to work as a two-stroke mechanic way back in the day, and saws would come in, and that was the first thing I'd look at. I'd look at well, actually, there's two things I would look at: the spark arrestor, and then I'd look at the filter. But the
Right.
filters, I would always I'd look at it and be like, okay, we're gonna toss that first and foremost.
Well, I mean, people keep the same filter on it the whole life of the saw. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're gonna do that, that's fine. Just get one of the foam filters that West Coast Saw makes a great one. Egan makes one. Redbeard makes one for the Husqvarna stuff. And I mean, you hit them with the greaser and then re-oil them, and I mean, man, you can't kill those things,
Yeah.
and they
Well,
catch everything.
but see, that's the important part. You actually have to maintain them.
Right, right. I mean, I'm probably a little crazy when I do it. I mean, I blow them out every time, clean them off, whatever. But I mean, I've never had a saw actually burn up on me. And
Well,
people
see,
don't
and that's the thing.
understand.
If you do that, and if I think too, if you do that enough, it's second nature. So you're not. It's not like this thing of like, oh, I have to do this. Like you don't even think about that. It's just
Well, when you get the
part of your
sawdust
routine.
that's
You know?
that's caked in oil all around the saw, you may as well just take an insulation blanket and wrap it around the cylinder, right? Because that's what it's
Yeah,
doing. And you are doubling the amount of heat that saw is trapping in that saw, especially on the flywheel and everything else. It's just heat.
yeah, and it travels throughout the entire saw. It's not just one point. It's not like it's not like a car. Where a car starts to overheat and it's localized. Like with saws, that heat travels, especially when we go back to talking about operating temperature of the bar. The hotter that bar gets, it has to travel somewhere. It can't,
Right.
especially if it's in the
And
cut. It can't go out in the cut because it's
and that comes
trapped
back
in.
to
So it
bar
goes
oil
back.
again. The bar oil is the only lubrication that cools that saw down.
Hmm.
The only one. And if you're gonna have a bar oil that allows more heat for the cut, the saw is gonna get hotter. And there's just no arguing that.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't. The heat will travel the path of least resistance.
Right.
And I mean, well, and you obviously in your career dealing with electricity.
Oh yeah,
So,
you get
you
a
know,
hot spot and that's where it fails, and I mean that's no difference for electricity or, you know, small engines.
yeah, it's all
If you
the same.
got a hot spot in a small engine, that's where it's going to fail.
Yeah, you have to take care of them. You have to maintain it.
The next episode we do together, we're definitely going to have to touch base on chain because I feel like chain is just as important as the saw
But no,
too.
absolutely. Yeah, that'll
Yep.
be I've already got a list of kind of like some topics and things I wanted to talk to you about and do some more, kind of as we go along,
Oh yeah,
hit on
absolutely,
different topics as we go on.
absolutely.
But thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. And, I hope you stay safe over there in Iowa and doing all those checks, and then, get back over to this way. And, eventually, hopefully in the near future, in between your trips or something, or if I happen to be in the area of where you're at doing something, we can meet up and talk shop together at the same time.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, no, thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. And thank you for everybody who is watching and or listening to this. Make sure to check out Full Tilt Saw on all the places that you can find, especially on Instagram there and Facebook. And look forward to the next episode of Lubrication Across the Nation, brought to you by DGP, Dynamic Green Products. ChangeYourOil.com for all the products, especially bar oil. Because remember, performance, people, and planet, you can't have all of those if you're going subpar. So make it happen, brothers and sisters, make it happen. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you.